What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 34 of the Stand Up Guys podcast. I'm your host, the incomparable Zach Jones, joined, as always, by the Randy Quaid to my Dennis Quaid, Lester Jones. No, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Just twist his eyeball out.
Man, Randy Quaid, he became fucking crazy. And we're back.
Just like all the characters he portrayed.
Coincidence, huh?
He was typecast.
He was typecast, exactly.
And we got, of course, the Ninth Wonder, Chocolate Thunder, licking butts and getting in guts, the ass tasting, times a wasting, having fun, eating that scrum, the phenomenal one, A.J. Singh.
Hello, everyone.
All right, guys, any good stories from the week?
Oh, what the fuck even happened this week? Oh, last show you talked about Fargo being a good show. I've been watching that. It's been pretty good. So, yeah, Fargo.
Yeah, did you finish season 1?
I finished season 1. I'm a couple episodes into season 2.
You'll probably complete all 4 before I'm done.
That's what she said.
But what do you think of season 1?
No, it was really good.
Yeah, I liked it. Let's see. What about you, AJ? You been watching anything?
I've been watching these guys on YouTube. They do movie commentary.
Okay.
So I've been watching movies along with them, just bad movies like The Room and
No, you watched it. Yeah, you watched it. You like those shitty movies.
and American Samurai or something. Samurai Cop and
American Samurai.
Then there's one called Killing American Style that has basically the same people in it. It's just terrible though, or at least one of the same people.
I had a friend in college who made he was like a side character in a shitty B movie. I don't remember what it was called.
Oh.
But a bunch of his friends had made a movie on no budget, and he was in it. He was this English guy called the Apache.
What? Nobody knows how he got that name. Or
I don't remember anything. Well, basically, his scene was he was just sitting in a rock, staring out, and I don't even remember his lines or anything. I think he was supposed to be an assassin or something. Random.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sounds like it's right up my alley.
Right, yeah. I should see if I can find it for you.
Yeah, I haven't watched a ton this week. Watched a little bit more of Star Wars Rebels. Finished season 1, started season 2. I think this show's getting a little bit, at least stronger as it goes along, though.
A little more rebellious.
But yeah, it's a fun show. But yeah, man, other than that, I really haven't watched very much this week.
Yeah, I've been in a fugue state for a couple weeks now. So I've just been working every day, so I've just been completely out of everything.
Yeah, well, I started this new job, which isn't, at least for the moment, I'm not working from home like I was before, although that's supposed to change at some point. But so that's been taking up a little more of my time, just getting used to that job and everything, But all right, should we get this bad boy started?
Let's rock it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, as tradition dictates, AJ, we'll have you go first.
Okay. $150,000 of church funds allegedly spent on porn. This Pennsylvania church treasurer apparently was worshiping at an altogether different altar. Glenn Yothers, 56, faces theft charges after being accused of stealing more than $150,000 from St. Paul Lutheran Church in Unity Township to pay for his porn addiction.
Maybe if he just donates the porn.
Spares everything away.
I'll just call it even.
The others allegedly claimed the money was going toward paying church bills and being donated to charity, but instead he's being accused of using the dough to gawk at pornographic websites over a 4-year period leading up to 2019. The naughty diversion of church funds left St. Paul Lutheran close to being shut down as utilities weren't paid, according to court documents obtained by TribeLive.com.
You could at least leave enough to pay the electricity,
Yeah, at least pay some of the bills.
You don't want to cut off your source,
Yeah.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Come on.
Well, they said almost, so he must have swooped in last second.
Yeah. He knew it down to a dime.
One of the red flags that popped up were the bills stopped being paid at the church. None of this was going to charity at all. It's going to his personal enjoyment and his own personal use. Yothers was the church treasurer for 12 years, told authorities he got addicted to sex sites before he was charged with theft by deception and theft by unlawful That's it. It's just as unlawful.
It's like this day and age, it just doesn't make sense. There's so much like free porn in the world.
Yeah.
It's like,
What are they doing on these paid for sites that are so different? Because they can't be a thing they're doing.
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he's one of these OnlyFans guys. I'm supporting these ladies from the ground
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, these startups,
These poor little starving women.
mom and pop shops.
I always love these stories where, we had like that story last year where the pastor got caught having some weird threesome in the church,
Oh,
and now
yeah.
this one, like it's only a matter of time, before someone in the church gets caught doing this kind of shit.
Like any position is prone to corruption. So
Yeah, I think I saw like a video like of a city council where they were like trying to talk about how the church there should be more oversight on the churches and stuff like
Right.
that. And the guy was like, no, we're not doing that. I was like,
that sounds like a terrible idea, guys. I want to back away from this as quickly as possible.
Maybe the church will now pay for him to go to porn addiction rehab.
Be waiting for one of those ones where like, oh, the president's golf cost us $250 million this year.
I wonder how much Trump's golf cost us. It had to be quite a bit.
I don't know. They always make big things out, but probably they shut down the course and frickin' have all the Secret Service out there.
Probably, yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, should we go to Manifesto round one?
All right, let's start out on a high note. School headmaster in South Africa has been charged with child abuse after lowering an 11-year-old student into a pit latrine to search for his lost cell phone.
well, what? A pit latrine?
Yeah, so basically they have a latrine out back behind the school or whatever. They just dig a big ditch.
And shit in it.
Apparently he did the old
Dropped his phone.
flip-flop, dropped the phone, and he's like, hey, Johnny, come here. I've decided you're punished.
That is messed up. Oh, no. You dropped your phone. Don't make somebody else go get it. You got to get it yourself.
To be fair, he was going to give the kid a brown noodle star.
So, I mean, the kid must have told his parents or something.
Yeah, apparently it got around. I think the guy was getting fired, which makes sense. But
yeah.
yeah,
I want to see that PTA meeting.
the town hall.
Yeah, how did he explain that to everybody?
You see, what happened is I dropped my phone in.
And there were kids around.
I sure as a fuck with it. I wasn't gonna fit through that hole.
You can see my dilemma.
It's like it only went up to his waist, you know.
I was there to
Not a
catch
big
him.
deal. I was gonna point him out.
Oh, man.
All right, was that it on that one?
Yeah.
Well, this story made me see that there's a whole line of work that we really should be in.
Porn.
New Jersey man sued company over mail. Nicholas Coretta, 47, of Bergen County, sued New York-based prank company after what he received in the mail. He alleged that they sent a chocolate penis, a glitter bomb, and other unwanted packages.
Unwanted.
Chocolate penis? You're telling me?
For free? You're saying free chocolate penis shows up at your door, and you're just like, no, sir.
This guy,
What a fucking asshole.
Pretty bougie.
Yeah.
that's
a little proud of himself there.
It's kind of the riffraff you get in New Jersey. Coretta felt that the things sent to him from R&D promos, aka Ruin Days, were meant to shock, offend, and frighten him. The company sent him multiple unsolicited, obscene, and harmful packages over the course of 18 months. Ruin Days is a company out of Queens, New York that allows its customers to send the most obnoxious of things, including glitter bombs, imitation feces, bags of dirt, and other annoying pranks to unsuspecting recipients. We should start a company that's better than this. We'll send real poo. We ruin your enemy's
Realpoo.com.
We ruin your enemy's day, the literature Disclosure states. Coretta received a chocolate penis in the mail in May 2019 while he was at work in his office at Fair Law.
Yeah, I'd break it out on the Instagram and be like, "Joke's on you, suckers."
Yeah, right.
I know. Same with the fake shit. The package was designed to disguise the true nature of its contents, states the suit, which was filed last month in Superior Court of Bergen County. Had a big label on there, not a chocolate penis.
Not a chocolate dong.
He claims upon opening the package containing the fake penis that he had, quote, suffered fear, apprehension, harm, and emotional distress. In November 2020, he got a spring-loaded glitter bomb that exploded in his face, according to the lawsuit.
That's a little scarier.
Yeah, that one would at least scare
And you have to
you.
clean it up, which is a pain in the balls.
Coretta opened the package, and the glitter bomb exploded in his face, causing glitter to strike him with force in the eyes, nose, and mouth, the suit states. The glitter became lodged in Mr. Coretta's clothing, as well as a nearby desk, files, and carpet, the suit states. Coretta received a mail address to, quote, fat midget with chocolate imitation feces. He said he was frightened and shocked and offended that the package of chocolate imitation feces came in contact with his body. The lawsuit claims assault, battery, infliction of emotional distress, negligence, and conspiracy. Also, the lawsuit names an unidentified John Doe who allegedly ordered and sent the products. Coretta is seeking $75,000 along with court fees and post-judgment interest, and neither company, R&D Promotions nor Ruin Days, have responded in regards to commenting on the lawsuit.
They need to stop putting a return address on there.
Yeah.
But I never knew like a company like that existed. It's not about it. It's like dirty work only for the mail through the mail.
I think I'd just be like, free chocolate again then. Chocolate of the month.
Yeah. Chocolate poo, chocolate penis.
Did you guys ever see that candy where they like take a mold of porn stars' buttholes and make a chocolate butthole for you?
No, I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's out there.
I just want to see like the range of those and see how much they vary.
Yeah.
It's like this big. I don't want them just making the same butthole and telling me it's this person.
I don't want
you
to
know.
get screwed on this.
Yeah, no. Give me that extended pink sock.
Whose butthole would you order?
Only the classiest of buttholes for me.
These buttholes are too small.
Only Randy Quaid.
They don't fill me up. I need a prolapsed butthole, something that can fill me up.
We opened it up and poured a mold 6 feet deep.
All right, AJ, I'll send it back to you.
All right. Moon sperm bank, question mark.
Oh, that was one of my possible. No, good.
Scientists have planned if disaster strikes Earth. Will there come a time for humans to escape the Earth and settle on the moon? Scientists and researchers from the University of Arizona, that explains everything, University of Arizona, have an ambitious plan for that. And it starts with the idea of a bank or ark containing sperm, eggs, seeds, and spores of our planet's 6.7 million species of animals and plants. The team presented the paper titled Lunar Pits and Lava Tubes for a Modern Ark at the IEE Aerospace Conference over the weekend as a modern global insurance policy in the event a crisis or disaster. Earth faces probability of peril from various natural disasters and human threats such as global nuclear war that could wipe out a large number of species in a short time.
Not that it's going to help anything.
Yeah, they'll still die. He points out that lunar lava tubes were discovered in 2013 and are likely to be in pristine condition after billions of years, which would make an excellent shelter for the samples. The samples would be cryogenically frozen and stored in a modern-day Noah's Ark while safely housed below the lunar surface, away from the harsh elements of space. Donga realizes, that's the researcher's name, Donga realizes the out-of-this-world idea will not be an easy task. Our research shows that new technologies are needed to make this innovation possible. He notes, it will require substantial investments and advances in robotics to operate under cryo conditions.
Yeah, it seems like nonsense. I mean, essentially, we have certain like arcs on Earth, I think, already for all kinds of different species, but like endangered animals and stuff, we try to get as much genetic material as we can. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems stupid. What Are you gonna have a robot come back to Earth and like starts back up when nuclear winter dies down or something? I mean, who even gives a shit about us at that point?
Yeah, we're already long gone.
Fucking let nature restart itself.
I think they did have a project many years ago. I heard about it because they had a wrestler participate in it, but they basically got DNA from like a bunch of people, and like they included like athletes and
Right.
and put it somewhere into space. I don't remember. I don't know exactly where they put
Arnold
it.
Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
They finally got that kid.
Yeah, I don't know. Kind of a not necessarily related story. I didn't even write this one down because I wasn't going to do it, but it kind of ties in. Apparently, like during the Cold War, we went to. Now I'm forgetting. Greenland's the icy one, right?
Yes.
Right. So we went to Greenland, and there was this project where they were making this big underground silo that would hold basically hundreds of nuclear weapons. But they did it under the pretense of like scientific exploration. So they drilled all these ice cores, and they never really looked at them. And so they were like stored, and then like the project was forgotten, the military left or whatever. And they've rediscovered these ice cores. But going back and looking at them, they're finding all this like evidence of fossils and stuff, like probably less than 1 million years old, which before they kind of thought like the ice sheet there was probably 3 million years old or something. So they're finding that somewhere, in a much more recent history, that Greenland was green and had plants growing and stuff. So
that's why they call it that.
right. So apparently there's a lot of history there, and it was just kind of like just sitting there waiting to be rediscovered. So that was kind of interesting. And that they're discovering, that it was green probably much more recently than they thought. So they kind of figured tying into with like, global warming that, it might be much more susceptible to melting than they were kind of thinking. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious about like if there was like if you did melt the ice and everything, like what would still be above water and what would be below water?
So they had an estimate on there that like if the Greenland ice sheet melted, the probably global water levels would rise by like 25 feet.
Oh wow!
So a lot of coastal cities would be affected, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I would never want like oceanfront property right now.
Yeah, no.
well, the thing is with FEMA right now, you can buy some pretty dangerous properties to own, and they'll just pay you when they get ruined. So it's not a terrible idea, actually.
Why would they pay you when they get ruined?
They shouldn't, but it happens.
FEMA?
Yeah.
Oh.
You get like a tornado comes through and ruins your house and shit, and there's, I don't know, I guess they got extra money for it. I don't know.
All right. Did you want to use that as your topic or go to your planned topic?
It'd be easier to use that, I guess.
Whatever you want to do.
All right, go ahead.
Before
it gets all dark in here.
All right, here we go. Mother sends deepfake nudes to get daughter's cheerleading rivals kicked off the team.
I saw this, yeah.
It's good for parents to support their children in their hobbies and goals. Some might even call it a requirement. But as with so many other things, sometimes things just go that one step too far. A Philadelphia woman has been charged with misdemeanor counts of cyber harassment of a child. She distributed doctored deepfake videos and photos of her daughter's cheerleading rivals, reported the Philadelphia Inquirer. Raffaella Spone, 50, was arrested on March 4th after sending videos supposedly depicting her victims in indecent situations. Her daughter, along with the harassed girls, are all members of a traveling cheerleader troupe called Victory Vipers based in Doylestown. Spone is charged with sending the pictures and videos anonymously to get to the targeted girls and several cheerleading couches. I believe they mean coaches. The messages showed the girls engaging in compromising behavior, including drinking, smoking, and partying naked.
So that was the mom's pictures?
Well, they don't say what she uses like the base, but but she had to have found video of probably just online.
Look at this slut.
I'm sure she just found
Taking
random
12-inch
like
video.
online party videos and put
I gotcha.
them on it. In addition, Spone allegedly wrote text messages to her victims. The text included such lovely sentiments as telling them to kill themselves. Her apparent goal was to get the rival cheerleaders kicked off the team. Spone did this all without her daughter's knowledge, so she says. Court documents say. We're still going to guess that the poor girl might not be very popular after this. Spone's claimed harassment spree began in July 2020 when Maddie Jaime, 17, started receiving abusive messages from an anonymous number. The text told Jaime that she had no friends and that she should off herself. The texting went on for months, she told 6 ABC. I do get hate comments, nothing to this extreme, but I was really upset. I was like, who says this to someone? Who thinks it's okay? It made me more mad than upset, Jaime said. The texting soon spread to include her coaches at Victory Vipers. They and the victim herself received photos that allegedly showed the girls naked, drinking, and smoking vapes. I just knew it wasn't real because I don't smoke, said Jaime. According to Philadelphia Inquirer, the young lady's parents contacted the police as the pictures could have gotten her removed from the cheerleading team. We'll take the liberty of assuming that they might have been also concerned for the child's safety. The police launched an investigation. Once the news hit them, 2 other families contacted the cops saying that their daughters had started getting similar texts. The other girls had received pictures that supposedly betrayed them in bikinis. Accompanying text said that the photos were taken while the girls were drinking at a beach. It goes on, but yeah, what do you think of, like, how crazy is this mom that she's like willing to do this, I guess, for her daughter to get ahead, you know?
Well, anyone that psychotic, it's more about like your status through your child.
Yeah, you would have to think so.
Yeah, you're like, she wants to tell all her friends that, oh, my daughter is like, you know, captain of the squad or whatever.
This is like one of those moms that would like force her kid into like beauty pageants.
Right.
One of those types, right?
Something.
It has to be. Because, yeah, this is just like fucking. And the thing is like, I don't know how hard these days it is to make deep fakes. I've never tried it.
Apparently it's getting much easier.
But, yeah, apparently this woman was able to figure it out. But, yeah, it's just crazy to go through all that work to try to get your, daughter to, I guess, get a better cheerleading position. I mean, it's so fucking strange. And then to actually, like, text the girl and tell her to kill herself, like, to go that far, like, this woman has some fucking problems, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
no, you see, like,
she
that
wasn't even smart.
cyberbullying that's enough to go to prison. People go to prison for that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what'll end up happening to this lady, but Jesus Christ, lady.
I hope she does get in big trouble.
All right, AJ, I'll send it back to you.
All right. So we just, went through 2020, and people talk about how bad of a year it was. Well, I have a list here of what the definitive worst year in history is. And some honorable mentions are 1945, the atomic bombings and World War II. Mm-hmm. 1520 with smallpox. 1349, the Black Death.
Oh, yeah. How much? Well, you probably don't have the stats, but yeah.
I think like a third of Europe died.
Yeah, it's insane, yeah.
And like a ton of people in other places too. But the worst year was 536 in the Dark Ages. So even if what was called the Great Mortality doesn't earn the title for worst year in history, what does? Well, what if we combine disease, famine, natural disasters, and climate change all into one year, the year 536, a year that probably wasn't in your history textbooks. It also started with a volcanic eruption of massive proportions, so massive, in fact, that there are no direct records of its explosion, only trace amounts of its ash stored in Arctic glaciers and early civilization, silver. The volcano erupted in Iceland and coated the planet in a cloud of ash. Since we don't have any records of people surviving close enough to the volcano to give an account of the blast, let's review a volcanic eruption we do know about. In 1883, Krakatoa, a volcano is what is now in what was now Indonesia, exploded with a force loud enough to burst the eardrums of sailors on a passing ship 40 miles away. This eruption altered weather for months, changed atmospheric pressure around the world, and ejected enough ash into the atmosphere to inspire the screen painting by Edvard Munch in Europe, halfway around the other side of the world. We all know about the Icelandic volcano of 530. All we know about the Icelandic volcano of 536 is that it was even bigger and even more catastrophic. A mysterious and deadly fog then enveloped Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. This resulted in the lowest temperatures in these regions in 2,600 years. This literally kicked off what became known as the Dark Ages. True darkness covered the world, causing crops to fail, snow to fall in summer, drought, and even an early outbreak of the bubonic plague. Scandinavians deposited hoards of gold in tribute, hoping to appease the gods and stave off the darkness. While Krakatoa may have inspired the Scream, this real-life event is thought to have inspired the entire idea of Ragnarok in Norse mythology. The plague of Justinian would eventually wipe out upwards of 60% of Mediterranean's population, and several states fell to the civil unrest and disease. The Mongols are thought to have been driven west by these events, and some scholars go as far as to say the establishment of Islam was a result of the power vacuums created in 536. All of that, and the official title for this climactic event, the Late Antiquity Little Ice Age.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, like, all the modern conveniences we have makes, something even like a pandemic, not as bad as a lot of.
Yeah, this pandemic was pretty paltry.
Yeah.
By pretty much any measure, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have 1 year with like plagues and natural disasters and all this stuff, we don't even have the technology to deal with like volcanic ash wiping out crops and stuff like that, do we?
I mean, gosh, I don't even know, man.
There's like,
the biggest one we've had around here is the St. Helens.
Yeah, St. Helens.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that affected crops in this area.
Yeah.
But I know they even had ash as far as Montana because our parents had some.
Oh, really? Wow. Oh man, that's insane to me. Like, living back then was already hard, but like under those circumstances, like for years, no.
But yeah, you wouldn't even like have any idea what was happening or why it was happening.
And the people in Iceland, if there were any people there, like they were definitely screwed.
Yeah, but apparently, yeah. So.
Yeah, I know.
So you got to keep things in perspective. We have it a lot better than than a lot of other people did.
Yeah.
All right, here you go again.
Okay, so in archaeology, in Israel, there have been some new fragments of Dead Sea Scrolls found, kind of in a similar area in a cave in that area that the originals were found, I guess. But they got some fragments, and then they figure that was like a couple thousand years old. They suspect that it was hidden by some Jewish people during a revolt with Rome, which, I don't know enough history to really say too much about that. But there's also a child who they said the skeleton was probably about 6,000 years old, and the world's oldest weaved basket, which was like they figure about 10,500 years old.
Dang, in that same cave?
Yeah, they had a picture of it too. It's in pretty good shape.
Damn, that's amazing.
So it's pretty good. But I guess it's pretty dry, so stuff was preserved.
Are the Dead Sea Scrolls something they're able to translate even?
Yeah, they can translate it.
Oh.
It's just basically they're like minor prophets, or like others than John, Luke, whatever. But they didn't make the official cut, I guess.
Oh,
But they're not all known. So I mean, they find parts and fragments. So it's kind of an interesting archaeological find.
I mean, the Dead Sea Scrolls are probably younger than the other stuff in there, right? Because the basket you said was like 10,000 years old.
Right. So that portion was only like 2,000, but
Okay.
the basket and the kid were both much older.
Yeah. Huh. So people have been inhabiting that place for like thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah, apparently it's a occasional refuge. So,
But now we're digging it up, so it got covered up by something.
well, it was like it was a cave in like a cliff wall, so it wasn't easy to access.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it people hadn't really been there too much.
Huh. That's wild. So for thousands of years, people knew, like, hey, let's find that secluded area higher and higher, and they went to that spot over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're in desperate, there's war or something, like
Yeah.
maybe you that's where you end
go.
up. Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
All right, are you guys ready for the crippling depression of the real crime story of the week.
Maybe I won't have to do that one because that was probably on my list.
Man told kids to open Christmas presents in front of dead, abused mother.
Oh, this isn't it.
Imagine this scene. A family is gathered into the living room of Christmas morning with the parents sitting on the couch and the kids opening their presents. It's supposed to be a happy occasion, but in this case, there's a gruesome twist. Only one of the adults is still drawing breath. A man from Anaheim, California, has gone on trial accused of murdering his wife. According to the prosecutors, he tried to hide his wife's death from her children by propping her up for a horrifying Christmas charade.
Weekend at Bernie style. Wow.
William Wallace, 39, allegedly beat his wife, Giselle Preston, 26, to death after a Christmas Eve party. The next morning, when their kids woke up, they found their mother sitting on the couch next to Wallace. Only at that point, she was already dead. Just months before her death, Preston had enrolled for classes at Cypress College to become a domestic violence counselor. In a cruel twist of irony, her chosen field of study would be the cause of her own demise. The alleged crime took place on Christmas a decade ago, on Christmas Eve of 2011. Wallace and Preston had attended a party hosted by one of their neighbors. The two partygoers apparently didn't watch their limits, as by the time they left, both were drunk. They returned to their apartment to Preston's two daughters, at the time aged 8 and 3, and the couple's newborn son. Later that night, an argument broke out. One of their neighbors told police that they heard yelling and other noises from the apartment overnight. According to Wallace's own story that he told Preston's family, the confrontation got physical. We were drinking, and during the argument, I tossed her around a bit, Wallace said, according to Senior Deputy District Attorney Heather Brown during the trial. He also confessed that Preston had tried to run out of the apartment. One of the neighbors gave a testimony that seemed to support this turn of events. According to Wallace's attorney, some neighbors had heard an agitated Preston yelling at Wallace in an alley behind their building. Another told the police that they had seen Wallace carrying what appeared to be a body by an apartment gate. Wallace himself said that he chased Preston down and dragged her back inside. After that, we can't be sure what happened. The only thing that is certain is that Preston died that night from blunt force trauma to her head. Wallace also at some point carried his unresponsive wife to the bathtub. But the next morning was when the true horror started. According to the prosecution, Wallace dragged Preston out of the bathtub and onto their living room couch. He placed sunglasses on her head and went to wake up the children. Mommy ruined Christmas. She got drunk and ruined Christmas, Wallace allegedly told the kids. He then told them to open their presents in front of him and their mother's corpse. Around 9:30 a.m. that morning, Wallace called 911. He told the responder that his wife needed medical attention. When the police arrived, the apartment was a mess. According to law enforcement reports, there was blood everywhere. Holes had been punched into walls, and one door was off its hinges. They also discovered Preston's body still sitting on the couch. It is no wonder that Preston wanted to become a counselor for victims of domestic violence. She had plenty of personal experience even before that night took her life. According to Preston's relatives, Wallace had always been controlling and violent. In fact, he had previously served jail time for beating Preston. The relatives also said Wallace had threatened to kill Preston during more than one violent argument. The prosecutor said that after a particular beating, one relative had found then pregnant Preston lying on the sidewalk in a fetal position. Brown told the court that the night Preston died, Wallace had simply followed his usual routine of violently abusing her. He did what he always did, expecting her to survive like she always did, Brown said. But Wallace's defense claims that the man didn't kill Preston. Sure, he had messed her up, but he didn't kill her, they say. Heather Moorhead, Wallace's attorney, said that Preston sustained the injuries in an accident. According to her, Preston drunkenly stumbled on a glass table, which caused her to fall on it and shatter the tabletop. Moorhead said that Preston's oldest daughter saw her fall into the table before Wallace could catch her. She also helped pull shards of glass out of her mother and disinfect her wounds, the defense claims. Wallace had also told several people that his wife hit her head when she fell, suffering a concussion. Her head also bumped onto something in the apartment as Wallace was moving her in the bathroom. Mr. Wallace is being accused of something that is not his fault, Moorhead said. You will hear about a relationship that was full of arguing and yelling, but also a lot of love, she told the jurors. That love must be why Wallace has a well-documented history and a prison sentence for beating his wife. Man, I think
Lawyers
about that.
Can fucking say anything.
That's the thing. I would kind of hate to be on that jury because they always go, oh, is there any sort of reasonable doubt? Well, then you hear that, oh, she fell through the table and got a concussion. Could that be the ultimate like nail in the coffin that killed her? But it's like, this guy still beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, he even admitted to throwing her around.
And the whole thing is like it. Why would he go through the whole charade of making her look, like she was still alive on the couch?
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew he was going to prison.
Yeah.
Just a fucking psycho. But
And he went and like she left, and he went and dragged her back. Like that's premeditated to me. Like if you could have ended that situation, instead you grab them and bring them back to eventually murder them. Like that's something else. You can't play that off. You can't say it was in the heat of the moment or anything like that.
man, luckily the one kid was a newborn, so he won't remember it. But those girls, man, they're gonna be scarred for fucking life. Like, thinking about that day. I mean, can you imagine like you have that memory of opening presents, and like you didn't know at the time that your mom was dead on the couch. You just thought, oh, mommy's drunk again or whatever.
It seems like it'd be hard to play off.
Yeah, because like I don't know how long it takes for rigor mortis to set in, but you'd think you'd notice quite right away something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I mean, look, lawyers, they have a job to do. I get why they say stuff, but
They do, but you're still a piece of shit.
yeah, this guy though, he's next level. Like, yeah, that's all I can say.
Man, and domestic abuse is one of those uncomfortable things because, like, even if you know it's happening and it's happening to somebody like, a lot of times, like, there's no butting in because they'll just get defensive about the person who's doing it,
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of it, even if you call the cops, if the cops show up, if the woman doesn't press charges, then it's done.
And you can't trust the cops either. 40% of them are known to beat their wives. Like, there was a lady so I saw this on TikTok where this professor had basically talked about police violence and brutality in the class. And this lady gets up and she's like, what about the good ones? And, the guy was like, yeah, but we're talking about police brutality. And she was like, but you're not talking about the good ones. And eventually he was like, okay, she talked about how she was married to a cop. And he was like, you're married to a cop? You had a good experience with him? Why do you have a black eye? And then she left the room.
What the fuck?
I know. I mean, even the people would defend it themselves,
Yeah.
Like, they have to see for themselves. You can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves at first.
Yeah, we have an aunt that, I mean, luckily she finally got divorced, but like, she was got beat by her husband for years, and like everybody knew it happened because same thing, he had gotten in trouble for it, multiple times. But it's like, if you can't make the person leave, you can't make him leave. So it's like it's uncomfortable, but like what can you do?
Yeah.
All right, AJ, you got something funner than that to pick us back up?
I'm sure I've got something more fun than that. All right. A couple of quick ones. So a 15th century bowl was bought for $35 at a yard sale. And this person, I guess he realized that there was something unique about it.
A bowl?
A bowl. Like
a bowl.
Yeah. It was actually from ancient China. It was from 15th century. It sold for $722,000.
Damn.
Yeah,
How much did you pay for it?
$35.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice turnaround.
That's a good investment.
Yeah, they believed that what happened was the family that had it, they just kept passing it down to generation to generation, not knowing that it was even valuable.
Yeah.
So this guy, he was like, oh, let me check it out, and boom.
Can you imagine being the person that sold it for $35?
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts. And I have another one. Amazon redesigns app logo after some said previous one resembled Hitler.
Yeah, I looked at it. Yeah, like initially I wouldn't have thought that, but after you hear somebody say it, and you look at it, and you're like, oh yeah.
You got to stare at it for
that's
a
Hitler.
second. You got to stare at it for a second. But the one on the left is supposed to be more Hitler-esque. But yeah. And here's one about a meteor. This is a real topic here. All right, so meteor streaking over Vermont exploded so violently it shook buildings, NASA says.
Nice.
A fireball traveling at 42,000 miles per hour streaking across the night sky above Vermont on Sunday night, creating a spectacular light show. The meteor fragmented so violently it shook buildings across the state and produced a loud boom, NASA said. NASA said on Facebook that over 100 eyewitnesses reported details of the meteor in Vermont around 5:38 p.m. Eastern Time. It first appeared about 52 miles above Mount Mansfield State Forest, moving 33 miles through the upper atmosphere, before burning up 33 miles above Beach Hill in Orleans County. It said the space rock was likely a fragment of an asteroid. It was so intense it could be heard for miles as it shook homes and cars. As the object penetrated deeper into the atmosphere, pressure built up on its front while a partial vacuum formed behind it. About 30 miles up, the pressure difference between the front and the back exceeded the structural strength, NASA Meteor Watch said. The space rock fragmented violently, producing a pressure wave that rattled buildings and generated the sound heard by those near the trajectory. Witnesses also reported tremors on the ground, which NASA attributed to a pressure difference. Such a pressure wave can cause a couple into the ground. Such a pressure wave can also couple into the ground, causing minor tremors that can be picked up by seismic instruments in the area. The wave itself can be detected by infrasound, low-frequency sound that can travel great distances. 3 nearby stations reported that the meteor released the energy equivalent of 440 pounds of TNT. Based on its speed and distance, scientists estimate the object weighed about 10 pounds and a diameter of 6 inches. One witness noted on Facebook that it sounded like big trucks crashing, while another described the feeling of house shaking and hearing a quick high-pitched shrieking. Another Facebook commenter said they were thrilled to witness such a rare event, saying it was extremely bright and absolutely spectacular. The whole thing lasted about 6 seconds for people to see it. But I mean, for a 10-pound, 6-inch object to do that much, man.
It's all about speed, man.
Yeah, 42,000 miles per second?
Could this have been one of those
Per hour.
frozen astronaut cum balls that we were talking about? Yeah,
6 inches is a lot.
10 pounds is a lot.
Yeah, I had that story too, and it said it exploded to an equivalent of 440 pounds of TNT.
Yeah.
That seems like that's an insane explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if it would have hit like a more residential area?
I mean,
Do you think like it
I
could
mean,
kill
you could
people?
fuck up a house, I'm sure.
yeah, it shook buildings.
440 pounds of TNT.
That's a lot, right?
Yeah, that's quite a bit, yeah.
But it exploded
Could
like
be a bomb, yeah.
above the ground, right? Like that's where the real explosion
Frequently, I
happened.
think that's what happens, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like the main explosion wouldn't be happening like near the actual house, right?
It depends on size and like how much of it burns off before it hits, or yeah. There's different things.
Yeah. Just thought that was interesting.
So how's our time? Because I got a couple dark ones, but I don't know if we need to.
We got about 20 minutes to go.
Okay, this one I think was last night in Atlanta. A guy named Robert Aaron Long.
Oh, yeah.
He went around to all these like massage parlors and stuff and started shooting people. So in total he killed 8 people, and 6 are Asian, so I thought maybe it was like an Asian hate crime or something. But so basically his claims at the end of the day is that he wanted to eliminate his sex addiction, and he claimed that these massage parlors were basically facilitating that, I guess.
I mean, you can't stop everything that facilitates a sex addiction.
Yeah, so I mean, there's obviously some kind of mental thing going on there.
Yeah. That's that guy who killed like all those kids in Newtown. He also had some sort of like pedophile thoughts or something, and then he went and attacked those children.
Yeah.
So it seems like the very thing that these people are, afraid of being attracted to, they're actually going out and killing it.
It's just such an odd thought process. Like if you're that like hung up, like just go kill yourself.
Yeah. Don't kill other people, man.
Yeah, I don't know if this guy, it really was because of a weird sex thing or, an anti-Asian thing. But they say that ever since last year, like Asian crimes and abuse toward Asians has gone up a significant amount. Which, they say it's derived from all the, Chinese virus talk from Trump and all that sort of thing, which it probably is. But, I mean, it always, because you would think if people have hate in their heart for certain people, that kind of shit is just going to, happen no matter what. You wouldn't think it would necessarily rise just because there's an asshole in charge that's being a little more flippant. But apparently that did have, like, a noticeable effect.
Yeah, I think people are just angry in general, and then if they're just directed in one direction or another, they just go with it,
All right, if you're just looking for someone to blame, like, and something pops up, like, it's easy.
Like if they feel they have permission, then they. But yeah, I heard that. I saw a little bit about that story. I didn't read all the details. I just saw that they had that guy in custody and he killed a bunch of people at massage places.
Yeah, he was young too, like 21.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah.
Man, but a lot of these guys that are getting caught up in QAnon and stuff, they're young like that.
Well, the young are always a popular target.
That's true. That's true. More impressionable.
Yeah, because when you're young, you can believe all kinds of stupid shit. So.
And so, what was your other dark topic?
I guess if we're gonna do it, so yeah, this one's Indianapolis. Malik Halfacre, 25. So apparently he was having a dispute with his girlfriend because he's trying to get half of her refund money.
Oh yeah.
And so she wasn't giving it to him. At the end of the day, he killed her and like two of her friends and like their kid or something, or her kid, or I don't know, like a 7-year-old. And it's just like, you just went to prison for like the rest of your life for like $700 or something.
Yeah, it's crazy the things people
just
are
completely, just stupid and vicious. Yeah, I don't know.
Could have been a drug addict situation where he needed that money to get his fix, so he was desperate.
I mean, some people do get pretty desperate in that, but Jesus.
I mean, just a two-step thinking, you would be able to work your way out of that,
Yeah.
But so many people can't.
Yeah.
Or, it happens all the time.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, yeah, I think drugs is probably the factor here, though, because that's
it could. But some people, like, they get caught up in a fight and then just like they're completely out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was watching a video, and some asshole, he was doing like Facebook Live or something, and I'm guessing it was someone he's been dating. Like, he was kind of arguing with her, and she keeps telling him to get out of her apartment and stuff. And she's like, "Do you want to die on live?" And like, he's just being stupid. And she's like, "Get out, get out, get out." And then he's like, "You stupid bitch! Like, you don't have the guts or something. Like, that's whatever." And like, he says, "I'm gonna slap your bitch ass." And he steps forward to slap her. Fucking shoots his ass.
Yeah.
And then like he's down on the ground, he's like, "She shot me." I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
I like this one.
Yeah.
I like this girl.
I like her too. This guy is, I don't know how to explain that. Like, what was he thinking?
She has a gun.
Yeah.
She's telling you get out.
You're giving her every reason to shoot you.
And
She had every legal right to shoot him then.
Yeah, she did. I'm sure she was released for it, but I mean, she shot me. He sounded so surprised.
He was in her apartment. Oh my God.
Yeah, just being a piece of shit.
Some people just don't have any common sense.
Man, there was a story months ago I didn't do because it was like too dark, but it was like there was this woman. It was definitely like in an Asian country, and she was like a popular, or at least somewhat popular, like social media person. And she was live on one of those services, and an crazy like ex of hers lit her house on fire while she was live streaming, and she burned to death.
Oh my God!
I didn't hear that one.
That's horrible.
Yeah, fucking horrible.
Did they? So they found that guy then, huh?
I think so.
I mean, presumably, boyfriends are going to be on top of the list.
yeah, I'm sure
probably.
I'm sure they got him.
But
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
kind of a different one. I saw like an Asian woman was doing something where she like took a selfie or something and posted it, and some like crazy fan, like he blew up the image and checked like the
Her
train
eyes.
number on her glasses or her eye or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, found the train number, figured out what stop she was at, and like went on like an intercept. Like it's fucking. There's crazy fuckers out there.
Yeah. And in Japan, like your camera, like your phone, it has to make a sound when you use the shutter app
Oh, okay.
or whatever. So like, so people don't like just take pictures of people
Right.
without anybody knowing it.
Because people do get caught taking pictures sometimes.
Yeah.
Is that just in Japan? I thought.
Well, that's where they have a
don't know.
law.
I know she was like an Asian like pop star. I don't know what country it was in. Something like that, yeah. But this guy's doing full fucking CSI shit.
I mean, some people are dedicated, man.
I mean, there's a guy on TikTok that like he can tell your height by like you being next to an object.
Right.
So that's interesting. But this guy's like, here, let me ruin your life and figure out where you live and stalk you. So yeah,
There was one a while back. It was something really fucked up. Like this guy had been like killing. Well, there's a show on Netflix. Don't Kill Cats, something like that. I forget what it was called. But he killed some animals online, and people were like tracking like things in his apartment.
Oh.
And somehow this didn't go anywhere. But there was like a blanket on the bed, and they're like, "Oh, this came from Russia," and there was only one sold. And I was like, "Oh my god, how do you fucking track this kind of shit?"
Yeah.
It's like, but eventually they caught the guy. But like he killed somebody before they caught him.
Gee.
And what was fucked up is like people on the internet were looking for this guy, and they'd sent stuff to the police in the city they thought he was in, and basically they ignored it, and like it didn't get picked up till after this guy got murdered.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff. Well, he told that story on the podcast months ago, and it was more of a happenstance thing. But like a guy was looking, doing like a Google street view of a place he was thinking about like vacationing or something, and he just happened to notice that his wife or girlfriend was on there with some other guy, and found out she was cheating from that. And I mean, that's crazy because that's like,
Yeah, that's a million and one shot.
yeah, that's a really coincidental. That's a bad way to find out, but
Do you think you could like follow one of those Google vans and be in like a shitload of their pictures?
that would be kind of funny. Like, this guy
would,
keeps showing up.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, oh, and you should dress like Where's Waldo?
Like, something retarded. Waldo is that's a pretty good movie.
So this story I thought sounded interesting, but then I read this article, finds out it's not super uncommon. Spanish drug smugglers build submarine out of plywood. Worldwide, the war on drugs has done more harm than good. It's caused mass incarceration for substance charges, driven up the price of illegal substances, and caused violence and conflict worldwide. And while I wouldn't call this story a bright side of illicit drugs, it does cast drug running activities in a zany, what will they do next light. Spanish police discovered drug smugglers building a narco submersible in Malaga on the southern coast. It's massive, over 30 feet long and 10 feet wide, and capable of moving 2.2 tons of cargo at a time. If that cargo is cocaine, they'd be looking at a street value of $500 million. The vessel never achieved its maiden voyage. A civilian-constructed giant submarine attracts a fair amount of attention, even in the carefree Costa del Sol. The submersible is plywood coated with fiberglass attached to a structural frame. It's blocky. Imagine a child's drawing of a submarine more than an actual submarine. It has 3 portholes all on one side so the smugglers can see where they're going. They equipped it with 200 horsepower engines that a crew would operate from inside the vessel. The submarine doesn't actually go underwater, at least not on purpose. It has an iceberg construction where the bulk of the cargo room is beneath the surface of the water, with just enough of the vessel visible for the mothership to see its approach. The bottom of the Spanish coast must be littered with plywood submarines. Also, not the first narco-submersible authorities have ever discovered. They're a popular solution in Central and South America for people engaging in illegal activities to move cargo to and from land to a large ship anchored out at sea. The submersible is only visible from a boat or helicopter, not from the shore. Because they use plywood to make them, and one would have to guess not a lot of expertise, you would have to wonder how many people met their tragic end because of a hull breach, sinking just offshore surrounded by hundreds of millions of dollars worth of drugs. Nabbing a narco-submersible or a few dozen people associated with the drug trafficking does nothing to stop the widespread problem. After all, the war on drugs started in 1971. 50 years later, the federal government hasn't achieved any measurable progress except for sky-high incarceration rates in the U.S. This particular Scooby-Doo operation was part of a global smuggling ring that involved cocaine, marijuana, and hashish moving between Portugal, the Netherlands, the UK, and the United States. So apparently, like, this particular sub, I think, was kind of the biggest one that they ever seen. But apparently, they've been making these things for a long time, and most of them are just like smaller versions. But like, you do have to wonder like how many drugs in these wooden submarines are at the bottom of the ocean.
How strong is
It
plywood?
seems like you test it. Well, they said they wrapped it in fiberglass. So.
Oh, okay.
There's a Futurama where they take the spaceship under the water, and they're like, how many atmospheres can this hold? And he's like, well, it's a spaceship, so probably between 0 and 1. But yeah, no, it's I mean, that's a lot of money.
I know 500 million if they were successful.
Gosh. I mean, I can't blame them for doing that.
Yeah, it might be worth an attempt.
Yeah.
Because you're right by the surface, so you figure, like, if I get 5 or 10 feet down, you know, maybe I'll just cut my strings.
The thing I want to know is, like, how much are those crewmen being paid if they actually succeed?
I mean, probably not 500 million,
Yeah.
but you figure a piece of 500 million still a decent day.
Yeah, probably like 50,000 or something.
That's the thing. I want to know what their cut is because they're
The thing is,
taking
like,
an awful risk.
I would kind of think, like, someone somewhere would be like, let's invest in a slightly higher quality submarine.
Yeah, right? I mean, they must have tons of shipments if they're willing to take chances on, like, these submarines, though, right?
Right. You seem like you'd want to put down a little extra.
Yeah.
I mean, I do believe some cartels have used like legitimate submarines
Yeah.
as well, but maybe these are up and
Paid for
comers.
by the CIA.
Yeah. The war on drugs. Well,
They're
at least
only going a
Oregon
few
is fighting
miles.
the war on drugs. What?
They're only going a few miles, right, from the ship to the coast.
Probably to, like, out in international waters or something.
Yeah, so that's not too
Yeah, I'm not
far.
sure how far exactly.
Yeah.
Get away from the Coast Guard.
Well, we still got some time. You guys got any?
I'm dry.
We got any funny stories to go out on, or lighthearted?
Nothing funny, but I got one more meteor that was kind of interesting, I guess.
Okay.
So, extremely rare meteorite found in wake of spectacular UK fireball may contain the building blocks of life. The meteor weighs just 10.6 ounces, so less than that last one by a lot. There are 65,000 known meteorites in the entire world, and only 51 of them are carbonaceous chondrites that have been seen to fall like this one. So this one is one of those carbonaceous chondrites. The reason it survived was because it was going 8 miles per second. The other one was going like 42,000 miles per hour. I don't know how many miles per second that is.
Yeah.
But more than, like,
That's
close
too
to
much
it.
math, yeah.
Yeah, close to 1,000, like 800 maybe. The museum said that the rock likely holds soft clay minerals, suggesting it once contained frozen ice water. Carbonaceous chondrites are made up of a combination of minerals and organic compounds, including the building blocks of life, amino acids. This type of meteorite stems from an asteroid that formed millions of years ago when the planets in our solar system were forming. Scientists believe they hold the precious information about our early solar system. So yeah, I mean, very rare rock. And they said it's also similar to some of the stuff that they're finding, like the rocks that they're finding on Mars or something. Or out in,
I have no idea. Yeah.
so they said it's preparing them to, like, look at those rocks. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, that's my topic.
All right, I got one last kind of light, uplifting story we'll go out on. Texas woman runs 15 days in a row for half marathon world record. A Texas woman broke a Guinness World Record for most half marathons run on consecutive days when she ran a full marathon, followed by 14 days of half marathons. Andrea Amaro, a mixed martial artist and fighter and behavioral health assistant at Rio Vista Behavioral Health Hospital, said she started her record attempt with a full 26.2 mile run at the El Paso Marathon and followed up by running 13.1 miles each day for the next 14 days, which ended Sunday. Amaro said she was left in so much pain after the first marathon that her first half marathon involved a lot of limping. I don't think there was a day that went by where I thought, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, Amaro told KVIA TV. Amaro is submitting evidence from her runs to Guinness World Records to be officially recognized as the record holder for the most half marathons run on consecutive days. She said her aim with the record attempt was to raise awareness of mental health issues.
Because she has.
That's what I was thinking. This message is really for mental health awareness, Amaro said. I hope that my message is whatever you do, you never give up. Life is full of obstacles. We're always going to have trouble, and it's always not about how we fall, but how we get up. Amaro said she is now preparing for another running challenge. I'm taking a few days off. This coming Friday, I'll be doing the David Goggins Challenge. It's 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, she said. Jesus Christ. I can't believe there's people that like to run this much.
That guy has some crazy records, too.
Yeah.
Like, he's done, like... Well, like, if you look up that Goggins, like, he's, like, pretty hardcore. But he's done, like, the 100-mile marathons and crazy-ass shit like that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll do like 1,000 push-ups in a day, sort of thing.
Which, yeah, at that point, I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost unfathomable. I can't believe people can do that, like their bodies allow for it. I mean, it's kind of amazing because she said basically like
Well, even he gets super fucked up when he does it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was just saying basically like day 2 she was like super fucked up.
Yeah.
But then apparently like after that her body just I guess got used to it, and it's just like the fact that a human body can get used to doing that much is just insane. It makes you feel lazy in comparison.
Yeah.
You feel lazy compared to somebody who goes and walks a mile a day. Fuck.
All right, guys, should we wrap this bad boy up?
Yep, I'm good.
Well, I don't think today was our funniest show, but definitely we had some like strange.
This started pretty strong.
And I think that's what we go for a
slow
lot
down
of
a little
time. Is
bit.
just like finding like the kind of weird offbeat stories, even if they are dark. Anyway, so guys, anybody watching or listening, please give us a subscribe, give us a like, write us a positive review, and follow us on social media, guys. Where can people find you on Twitter?
I am at a name for this too, and that's number 2.
I'm at unsolicited SUG.
And you can find me at Zach Jones Live. That's ZachJonesLive. That will do it for all of our shenanigans and poppycock this week. Please tune in again next week. Bye.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Take care, guys.